No, the actual history of that clause was the Bush administration's original draft of the AUMF gave the president the power to deter and an independent power to deter and preempt all future acts of terrorism against the United States. That was so horrifying to a Congress, even in the aftershock of 9/11, that they changed that language to dislink that as an independent power.
To apply,
he has the power to go after persons and organizations linked to 9/11 for the purpose of
linked to Al-Qaeda, linked to the folks who did it in 9/11, and that's our claim. These guys are linked to them.
I think it's an important distinction.
Other.
The language isn't linked to 9/11. The language is linked to the perpetrators of 9/11.
Aiding or harboring them, ex ante or ex post.
The language isn't linked. The language is responsible for the attacks of 9/11. And I want to come back to the question that was posed here a minute ago, which is, why is it that we should have, and we all agree, right, some congressional authorization is required. The notion is, well, you don't have to say specifically who the enemy is, right? The enemy can be Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, associated forces, people responsible for the attacks of 9/11, or whoever, right? The reason why you need congressional authorization and the reason why you have to name who the enemy is the same. It is in order for Congress to have a meaningful check in a democracy. You can't lead a people into war without telling them who they're going to war against and why.
So
and that's why naming the enemy is as important as the authorization in the first place.
This is the second time that you've actually suggested, at least the second time, that the real constitutional culprit here is not the president, but that Congress has somehow passed an unconstitutional statute, which is a very odd proposition to me.
I don't think I was suggesting Congress passed an
So Congress passed a statute that didn't read the way you would have drafted it, mentioning Al-Qaeda by name, and for very good reasons, because we wouldn't want to let them change their, just call themselves Shal-Qaeda, or, they actually, you're saying, well, unless you actually name the organization, it's not valid. And we're saying, where'd you get that from?
I'm saying the statute is entirely constitutional, and all three branches of government have concluded that the statute authorized the use of force against three groups: Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, and associated forces. ISIL is not the Taliban. The administration says they're not associated forces, because after all, they're fighting with each other. The administration says they're Al-Qaeda, and I'm telling you, there's no sense in which they're Al-Qaeda, and I'm not the only one who says that, because I'm, after all, not that persuasive, right? You got to read the West Point Counterterrorism Center report. You got to read, actually, a wonderful piece in Atlantic about who ISIL is, and no matter what the president says at some level, there's got to be a recognition of who we're talking about, and this isn't it.